Kingdom Hearts is a beautiful series. It's about friendship, love, compassion, beating insurmountable odds, and almost every villain is a different variation of this one man. Don't worry, it's really not that complicated. Kingdom Hearts 1 was my first ever RPG, and not only did it teach me about the genre and fast-paced combat, which the entire series excels in, I also learned more about myself. The beauty of Kingdom Hearts is you're most likely going to relate to it in one way or another, and that's a special gift. Not many forms of entertainment can get that right. The first Kingdom Hearts has an exceptional amount of world building within its level design, something that's not really repeated until Kingdom Hearts 3. Each world has a lot of little quote-unquote pointless features that make the world feel more real. Kingdom Hearts 1 also feels a lot less linear and more explorative in its design, but it also has wonderful foreshadowing about the world we're here to talk about. Hollow Bastion. Hollow Bastion from Kingdom Hearts 1 is one of the greatest levels in all of gaming. Throughout the game, the stakes are pretty high. You know that more and more worlds are falling into darkness. Your best friend Riku is following a dark path with no known way to pull him back into the light, and your other best friend Kairi is in some kind of comatose state. Hollow Bastion is referenced throughout the game as this place where a lot of villains reside, with Maleficent being the mastermind, and where the people who lived there were banished through the darkness taking over. On top of that, Disney princesses have been kidnapped throughout the game, and you've been powerless to stop this. This is the place where all of this concludes, and honestly, nothing really prepares you for the gravity of how epic it is. Before you even get there, you have to do a Gummy Flight mission, and this is the starting point where you know things are getting serious. Before, Gummy Ship missions were super colourful and positive, and the music is all like do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And now, it's dark, it's dangerous, and the music is more like this. Immediately, the tone has shifted into something new. Kingdom Hearts has not been afraid to let you know that there's danger around, but you've mostly been travelling to Disney worlds with fun shenanigans and magic and characters you recognise. Not this time. You complete your Gummy mission and you see a castle. Maybe you even recognise it. It was shown a while back in Deep Jungle. It even seemed familiar to Sora. The game makes a point of hyping this world up multiple times. And with good reason. You choose to land, and this is what you're greeted with. This music makes me tear up. You hear this piece and you can understand this is something very new for this game. You land and you are surrounded by towering waterfalls and an overwhelmingly large castle in the distance. You immediately feel a sense of dread. Just what is this place? You haven't even started to move and already this world emanates trepidation. But you have to move forward at some point, right? In any other game, this would be endgame. Everything you've been working towards, all culminating here. Not Kingdom Hearts. There's still a long way to go once you complete Hollow Bastion, but it doesn't stop this game making this world one of the most epic places in all of gaming history. And as far as the first time player is aware, this could very easily be the end. At this point in the game, you still think Maleficent is the ultimate villain. Hollow Bastion wastes no time in telling you that you're in for a challenging ride, both in combat and emotionally. Riku almost kills Beast and uses his newfound confidence and willpower to take your Keyblade from you. You are no longer a master of this privileged weapon. You are just the delivery boy. You've been betrayed by your best friend and your only form of defense. Your new best friends have to abandon you as they need to stick by the Keyblade wielder. You could not feel more defeated, and you've only been playing for 3 minutes. Thankfully, Beast joins you as you share a common goal of getting inside the castle, and this is where things feel both nostalgic and terrifying. Riku mockingly gives you a wooden sword from Destiny Islands to play with. But there lies a problem with that. This is not a weapon to fight the Heartless. You do virtually no damage against these brand new Heartless, which are both terrifying and powerful. Though magic thankfully can deal damage. Dark Balls, Defenders, Wizards. These three Heartless are genius in design. They mirror you and your friends. Defenders are shielded to stop Goofy. Wizards are as potent in magic as Donald. And Dark Balls resemble the reckless Sora, erratically moving, hoping something sticks. Later, you'll run into Wyverns, which are there purely to counter your glide ability. Throughout this section, you'll be utilising Beast's raw strength to take out the Heartless for you. You just have to be a spectator. Sora is the lowest he's ever felt, and to proceed, he has to descend lower into the castle. Thematically, this is all genius. But here's where you're going to see something unique in the series. Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually very good at creating puzzle rooms and unique platforming set pieces. Whilst yes, it's true Sora feels a little more stiff and awkward to control in Kingdom Hearts 1, the worlds are much more open and creative here than it will be for quite some time. I'd argue not until Dream Drop Distance do the worlds feel as fleshed out. Of course I love Kingdom Hearts 2, but you can't deny it's mostly get from point A to point B with battles in between. There are exceptions, but they are few and far between. Kingdom Hearts 3 and 0.2 I feel goes back to its roots and really pinpoints exactly why Kingdom Hearts 1 is so great, and tries to replicate that in its explorative and creative varied design. In 0.2, Dwarf Woodlands' mirror rooms are a fantastic example of this. Fun creative puzzle rooms, each feeling completely different but also massively satisfying. If you explore the main rooms, you can find chests hidden on the pillars. It's not that obvious, so you feel good about discovering them. Kingdom Hearts 3, every world is so open. Even linear worlds like Kingdom of Corona has branching paths that hide items, but each world presents a completely different gameplay challenge, which makes the game feel fresh throughout. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 has a tendency to just get a lot of backlash for stuff it does wrong, and I don't think it's deserved. I would love to talk about why the game is brilliant. But back to Hollow Bastion. The bubble mechanic is utilised to great effect, and you discover new parts in and outside of the castle, as well as hidden items, which is always very satisfying to discover. But take a look at this. You can freeze the bubble and it will become a platform temporarily. This item, as a result, is one of the hardest in the game to find, but it's absolutely genius. Because you could potentially decide to experiment, you're rewarded for it. Later Kingdom Hearts games rarely do this. Then you have the Waterway, a simple door puzzle, but again, it's wonderful. Puzzle rooms in Kingdom Hearts feel satisfying, and in this moment, where Sora's lost everything, the game can't pitch you against a huge range of Heartless, so it makes the most sense to pull the difficulty back a bit, and let you contemplate the weight of what just happened. Once you reach the castle, Sora is separated from his protector. The last ounce of strength at his disposal. Riku mocks his weakness. What exactly can a boy from an island do without the Keyblade? But Donald and Goofy care about Sora and rush to save him. And Sora realises his friends are his power and rightfully wins back the Keyblade. And the battle begins. At this point, the darkness has fully corrupted Riku's heart. He is not the same boy who we grew up with on the islands. But he also absolutely is! Riku's battle style completely mirrors that of his optional simple battle on Destiny Islands. Okay, he's a little faster, can jump strangely high, and he has an actual blade now, but the point remains, Riku hasn't learned anything that can aid him. If you tried fighting him back then, and learned how to beat him, you know how to beat him now. The library is another excellent example of puzzles being more prominent in Kingdom Hearts 1, and it's so incredibly satisfying. It's not particularly difficult, but simply matching the books to their respective bookshelves and watching it move to form a different path around the library has quite a magical feel about it. To leave the library you don't have to do much, but if you solve the entire puzzle, you unlock a secret room that leads to an elevator. This elevator allows you to travel up a majority of the castle to reach a new item, but it also serves as a way to see what's coming up ahead, as well as another hidden secret. Hidden underneath moving platforms is a door that's not easy to notice if you don't come here. It's just another example of excellent level design if you choose to wander off the beaten path. Before we get to the Ascension, I want to talk about a secret chest near the emblem door. The camera at no point alludes to it. You'd have to be in a specific spot and point the camera to it to see it. The only clue is the wall hanging on one side hasn't been damaged, and that's your indication you can climb up it. It's only for an AP up. Honestly, I think a power boost would be more appropriate given the events of the room and how well hidden it is, but I love secrets like this! This is the 3D platformer's equivalent of Donkey Kong Country 2's most daring hidden collectibles. But now it is finally time to talk about the Castle Ascent. From the second you arrive and see the castle looming over you, you know you have to head towards it. What you're probably not expecting is to climb it from the outside. This is incredibly satisfying from start to finish. The toughest enemies you've ever fought are coming at you as an onslaught, matching your abilities. Wyverns are particularly dangerous as you could fall down trying to beat them, so you have to climb more. What I find wonderful about this is you actually visibly see yourself getting higher. If you were climbing from the inside, maybe every so often you'd see outside of a window and be like, oh yeah, I was down there earlier. It doesn't feel like I travelled this high. But with this, you truly feel it. The scale of how tall this castle is astonishing. And after all the hardships you've faced, there isn't a better way to prove how far you've come. Riku is granted more dark power by someone other than Maleficent. Someone you haven't seen since Destiny Islands. You might have even forgotten about them by this point. This is the moment you've probably realised there is a lot more to do in this game. And as that realisation sinks in as you climb, it's time for back-to-back bosses and epic plot twists. Maleficent radiates an air of victory before the battle's even begun. She believes she's going to win, but she won't because the level design in Hollow Bastion is perfect and has been training you for this battle. Throughout the world there are treasure chests on these floating pedestals. If you use gravity, you can bring the items down. It's a very cool way to collect an item in this new mysterious world, but this is subconsciously teaching you how to stop Maleficent. The entire battle is on a floating pedestal. Hit her too much and she'll knock you off and then rise higher. You can hit it normally and eventually it'll fall, but alternatively you can use gravity to bring her down instantly. There are very few games that have utilised the environment of a world as well as Kingdom Hearts does. Everything I've talked about has been to showcase how perfect the level design is, and in the case of Maleficent Dragon, which is a tough as nails boss fight which I personally love, you may think that it's just here because it's cool to fight a dragon. And you're right, it is very, very, very cool. But more than that, the entire world's narrative is a fairy tale. Sora is the brave hero who storms the castle, takes out the Dark Knight, gains strength and character, slays a dragon, and finishes by rescuing a princess. Or princesses. It's such a simple narrative, but extremely effective, and that's possibly why it succeeds the way it does. Once you defeat Maleficent, it's time you face Riku once more. Or more specifically, Rixem. Yes, this is Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness in Riku's body. This boss is one of the toughest in the game, and back in the original game you couldn't skip this cutscene, so I think everyone has this memorised. Kairi's heart rests within you! The incredible thing about this fight though, whilst yes, Riku has a couple more attacks and is more aggressive, his fighting pattern is the same as on Destiny Islands. Everything has been leading up to this. Sora versus Riku, a rivalry that has lasted their entire lives coming to a close. And the weight of that is exemplified in the music. My god, the music! Forze de Male is epic. It's just epic! The entire game, you've been told Ansem might know how to stop the darkness, and Maleficent is teased as the main villain. But here, we see all of it has been a wonderful bluff. Admittedly, the true mastermind isn't Ansem, it's someone else who has been playing a very long game, manipulating everything from the start, and I certainly don't mean Xehanort, but that is for another time. time. Once the battle is done, Sora sacrifices himself for Kairi. This, and what follows, is kind of mind-blowing. You don't expect Sora to sacrifice himself, and it's genuinely a beautiful, emotional scene. But what follows is just incredible. Playing as a Heartless. This is so unexpected, and whilst it's limited in what you can do, it's such a wonderful concept, and genuinely satisfying to descend the castle. Sora is falling both literally and physically into the darkness, at least until Sora meets up with Kairi, who brings him back into the light. You escape back to Traverse Town, and then you return to climb Hollow Bastion once more. The second ascent is a genius concept, because it allows you to see how much stronger you truly are. The 3 bosses that preceded this will have leveled you up at least 5 times if you weren't super over-leveled, so this is going to be a much simpler ascent, and you'll feel it. It's almost like a huge weight has been lifted off of Sora's shoulders, allowing him to succeed with ease. Finally, to seal the keyhole and stop the darkness pouring out, you must face one of the most powerful Heartless, the Behemoth. It's not a super challenging fight, but I don't think it's supposed to be. Again, for the reason I mentioned before. Sora is stronger. Compared to what he's been through, especially emotionally, this is child's play. But the room you fight in is gorgeous. Such a wonderful effect which shows the unpredictability and unstable nature of darkness. Once all is said and done, you say goodbye to the Final Fantasy crew who you learn used to live here. And then you can explore the world as you wish. Hollow Bastion is a triumph of design. And I think that's clear in how I've talked about it. Once you beat the world, as long as you don't leave and come back, the first time you explore will be devoid of Heartless. You can explore how you wish, and there's so much freedom in gliding around the world without worry and collecting chests that you've missed. Some neat touches are all the princesses are gathered, just chatting, and they can give little pieces of advice. And if you go to the library, Belle will give you a really powerful Keyblade, Aerith will give you Curiga, as well as a bunch of Ansem reports that Maleficent had been collecting, the ones that hide the true nature of Ansem. Of course, this isn't the end of Hollow Bastion, which you later learn was originally called Radiant Garden, and that's both fantastic and slightly disappointing, and I'll explain why. Kingdom Hearts 2's Hollow Bastion is epic. I bloody love it for all the right reasons, but because it has a bit of a civilization again, it has a different atmosphere. Even amidst the threat of having the world blown up and an army descending upon the town, the world still feels much brighter, even if it's fragile. Having a lighter world is not a bad thing at all, but the vibe that Kingdom Hearts 1 has created has been shattered as a result, and it can't be brought back without destroying Radiant Garden again, which is a shame. The mysterious world that houses nothing but the epicenter of darkness is no longer that, and probably never can be that. But I digress. Hollow Bastion is epic. Simple as that, really. Everything this world does is to throw you into the deep end and make it feel like the final world without it being the final world, and it truly succeeds. And I think it's also important and impressive to note that it doesn't overshadow the final world. The end of the world in itself is extremely epic, as you feel like the universe is crumbling around you. And you have some brutal Heartless and an epic multi-phased final boss. It doesn't get much better than that. Kingdom Hearts 1 is a masterpiece. I hope you've enjoyed this analysis rambling thing. You may be able to tell that I quite like this game. Massive thanks to my friend Nicole, aka Awesome in My World, for helping write this and bringing some incredible thoughts, feelings and realizations to the script. And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you left a like, subscribed, share the video around. I also have a Twitch, a Twitter and a Patreon if you'd like to support me and the channel. And click that notification bell too, please. It really does help. So tell me, what is your favourite version of Hollow Bastion or Radiant Garden? Or what's your favourite world in the entire franchise? I would love to know. But seriously, thank you so much for watching this far. It really means a lot. It's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I'm glad I've been able to articulate my feelings about Hollow Bastion and Kingdom Hearts 1 as a whole. And to a point, also Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 gets a lot of flack, and I would like to make a video basically praising everything that's amazing about the game. And there's a lot of complaints about the game that I feel like there could be a counterpoint offered that would be interesting to sort of discuss. I might make a video about that. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.